There it goes. All right, good morning. My name is John Perone Jr. I was born in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Dallas, Texas for me is home. Any and every Dallas sports team, yes, the Cowboys. I'll throw that out there now, despite the heartbreak, which is very consistent. I do love them. Love the Mavericks, the Stars, the Rangers, you name it. They're my go tos. So, being here in San Antonio, you can see that I have a lot of friends, especially the Mavericks part. I'm kidding. Um, what brought me to San Antonio was the United States Marine Corps. I was a recruiter out here. If I look familiar, it's probably because I was at your high school a few years ago. I'm glad that you went to college like you said you would. So thanks for not choosing the military. Um, my major here at UTSA is communication. Take a lot of pride in that. I like to think that I have a great deal of experience in it. But the one thing that's great about this field is that it's very challenging. And I realize that I just don't know as much as I think I do. And I'm just not as good as I think I am, which is great because there's always room for improvement. Bleeding into the hero story, I'm going to tell you a brief story about my grandfather. Um, his name was Joe Perone. He gosh, where do I start? Yeah, he was a Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart Bronze Star recipient. There wasn't anything that really feared him or that made him afraid. Nothing startled him. Um, I think if there was anything he was afraid of, it was not being there for me and his sons. He passed when I was in sixth grade, and one thing that he had always told me was, "Someday you got to be a better man than me, and a better man than your father. And when you have a family, your kids need to be better than you." Um, and he always made sure to tell me that the only thing I was given at birth was our family name, and that it's my duty, my obligation, to make sure that I put that family name in a position of um, good standing. Make sure that I don't tarnish it. Yes, I'm going to make mistakes, but bounce back from them, learn from them, own up to your stuff, be accountable. Um, and another thing he always told me was to make sure um, that I always knew he'd do anything to protect me. So, with that being said, when I was about 5 years old, there was a rattlesnake under my grandfather's car. This was in Burke Burnett, Texas, Wichita Falls area. Um, so my grandmother's freaking out. My grandmother's full blown Mexican, screaming in Spanish. At the time, I knew what she was saying, and luckily, I wasn't the subject of any of the bad words. So I hop in the back seat, and my grandfather gets in the driver's seat, backs the car as quick as he can, pulls out his 22, and proceeds to shoot the snake 6 times because one just wasn't enough. Um, so of course, I'm in the back seat, and at the age of 5, I thought the Ninja Turtles were the coolest thing I'd ever seen, but this had definitely superseded that. Um, so after the 6 shots of the snub nose 22, my grandfather gets a shovel and proceeds to hack the snake up into probably 8 or 9 pieces. Um, Again, I'm bug eyed and absolutely loving everything I'm seeing. And he was a man of his word. He definitely made sure nothing was going to hurt me, and if anything was going to be in a position to do so, they were they were going to get dealt with. Now, yes, it was only a snake. I don't mean to offend anybody that's an animal lover. I think snakes are fantastic. They've got their purpose. Um, but I was 5. I didn't want to get bit by one, and my grandfather was going to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. Um, I've always loved him for that, and even as I had gotten older, um, he just always made sure I was safe. It didn't matter where, didn't matter what the situation was. He was always there. I never got to, I guess, say goodbye to him. Um, so that part always kind of gets me. But uh, he always asked me, when I do pass, hold my hand, say a prayer for me, and know that while I was here, I did everything that I could for you. Um, so I did that. Uh, and we'll go ahead and move on to what I want to get from this course. I want to get emotional. What I want to get out of this course, I'm also in 3023, so I don't want to sound redundant here, because I do think thought, the critical thinking aspects of communication are absolutely imperative to what's said, how it's said, who it's said to. Um, I think one thing I want to make sure I'm good at in regards to the critical thinking is understanding my setting and my audience, but being able to do it quicker. I don't know if that's something that I think it might be doable. I'm just not sure if it's going to be a good ability to have or not. But I don't have it and I want it so that I can at least learn if it's going to be good or not. Um, in the previous video, I emphasized that I want to get work on my empathy. That's for a lot of personal reasons. Um, but the reason why I want to be able to focus on that is to really ensure that there's so much of communication that involves listening and being there for others, and that's going to make me a better father. I know that for sure. So something I want to be a lot better at instead of telling my son what I was told. Hey, suck it up, you'll make it. Maybe guide him through situations a bit better than I was guided through. And that's it. Thanks.